What is going on, guys? So UFO abductions are back in GTA Online. They were first introduced last year to celebrate Halloween, and they are back this year. We're not really 100% sure how long they're going to be around for. I know last year they ended just after Halloween, so we'll have to wait and see if that'll be the same this year. Nonetheless, there is a couple additional things that Rockstar has added to these abductions, or if you are abducted by a UFO, one being a special tea you can acquire, as well as a special room that you can wake up in. And we're going to be discussing all that in this video. In any case, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and consider subscribing. Let's get right into it. So firstly, there is a special tea you can unlock. It's the question mark tea. It's a new special top. Now, I believe originally this was supposed to only be able to be acquired if you woke up in the special room. However, myself, as well as a friend of mine and even a handful of others that I've seen, have been able to acquire this tea just by being abducted by a UFO and waking up anywhere. So you should be able to acquire this tea that way. I don't know if Rockstar ends up bringing this event back next year, if they'll end up changing it, but at least for now, for sure, that is how you can acquire this tea. It's a pretty interesting tea. It looks like it has an alien in the middle with 4 symbols around it, which we'll look at those here shortly. And around the symbol, it has a bunch of numbers. And supposedly the community has cracked the code to these numbers. And what the T is saying is one day will reveal all, which is definitely a very cryptic and interesting statement. Could this be tied to the Chiliad mystery or maybe even GTA 6? Will we even ever find out? Definitely very cool and adds much more to this tea. Now, in order to wake up in the room that is in the secret bunker or lab, it's a little bit more random, as there's only a 25% chance you wake up in this room. It sounds more complicated than what it really is. It's just there's a lot of other locations that you can spawn in when being abducted by a UFO. But I've already been in this room a handful of times. This is what it looks like when you wake up inside it. So once being abducted into the secret room, you're only in there for a few seconds. You're laying down in the first person view on a bed, and you can see what looks to be one of the symbols on the question mark T on these computer screens. And after you're in there for a few seconds, you spawn in a different location or one of the other locations that a UFO will spawn you in when being abducted by it and you're not put in the room. You can also spawn in a different bed inside this secret room. I'm assuming this may be you were in a session with a bunch of players that happen to be abducted at the same time, and maybe a few of them ended up at the room also at the same time. That may be the possibility for having the multiple beds and also being able to spawn in a different one. So now onto the tour of this underground bunker and or lab. First off, listen to the noise of being inside of here. So almost like a magnetic sound, not quite from the UFOs, but very interesting nonetheless. That window looking out just shows how massive this place is, much more than can be explored. And we're starting in the room where you are abducted into. There are 4 beds in here, and also these screens are off, but they're on during the abduction. And it has one of the symbols that can also be seen on the question mark T. And outside of this room, above the doors, this symbol can also be seen. And all the rooms inside of this bunker or lab all have a different symbol above it that can be seen on side of that question mark T. Here's what looks to be like a computer, almost what you see inside the arcade property, like the master terminal. And the one computer screen to the far left looks to be where we are underneath, which I'll mention that a little bit later in the tour. There's also a working computer that can be used here. There's a couple others located inside of this bunker or lab as well. One is on this table here where these blueprints, tool bench or toolbox, and some other miscellaneous items. And behind me here is probably the most interesting thing inside this room. This is an alien egg. Also seen after completing, I believe, 600 or 601 resupply bunker missions, as well as in the ECU job or contract job that can be started through the auto shop property. So super cool there. Here we have what looks to be a bunch of crates inside this room. And probably one of the most interesting crates has a Clifford symbol on it. Clifford, the arch nemesis of the Doomsday Heist DLC, and also a crate with a light on it. Almost reminds me of like the special crate drops that used to be in the game before the remote events update. Maybe some other activities I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but here's another room here with also a different symbol on it. Starting in this room, we have another setup of computer screens, pretty much identical to the other room, just without the computer that we can access. One of the most interesting things in this room, however, is a blueprint of the jetpack, not the one from GT Online, not the thruster, but the one from San Andreas, the prototype, which is mentioned in the bottom right of the blueprints there. So that is super cool. So that's a reference to GTA San Andreas, where you had to break into Area 69 and steal it and then deliver it to, I believe it was, the Truth. And here we have an MK2 oppressor, what looks to be being broken down and maybe examined or studied. So that is very interesting there. Definitely the two most interesting things inside that room. And that really is the majority of this entire underground bunker or lab. At the end here on this wall, we have all four symbols that can be seen together. Two doors that we can't access, and then an elevator. Now, what is interesting about this elevator is one of the spawn sites after being abducted is actually this elevator inside of Fort Zancudo. In fact, if you walk to this elevator, even when you're not inside Fort Zancudo, you are still going to get a wanted level the same once you spawn inside here after being abducted. And that is even if you own a hangar inside Zancudo. It's always been a mystery or sort of conspiracy that this would have been tied or maybe tied to the Chiliad mystery or something with aliens, or would take us somewhere like almost what we're in right now. And it looks to be what Rockstar may be hinting at. So that is super cool. Obviously a little bit of speculation there and still a bit of a conspiracy, but maybe a little bit more proof to that conspiracy, considering that that is an abduction spawn, and also there's an elevator that goes to this bunker or lab. Nonetheless, altogether super cool. In any case, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it extremely beneficial. Please forget to like, subscribe, and share it. As always, have a great day.